You join us at Vallelunga for the NASCAR Grand Prix of Italy. The final race of the EuroNASCAR Pro Division 2021 is coming up. We'll be crowning a champion very shortly indeed. Great to see the crowds are flocking back as well to this wonderful circuit just outside of the capital city in Rome. We've already had one race so far this weekend. Let's have a look what happened. When the lights went out, Jacques Villeneuve was just ahead of the pole sitter Alain Day and would take up the lead of the race, but he was deemed to have jumped the start and therefore was given a 5-second penalty, meaning that whilst leading on corrected times, he would lose out if the cars behind were less than 5 seconds. Mark Werrell was fighting away with Alain Day and eventually went through at Roma to take up second place. Alain Day would then come under pressure from Loris Hasemans, the championship leader. As they went through Curve Grande, there was a little bit of contact, just light contact between Hasemans and Alain Day, which would pitch Alain Day onto the grass. He would rejoin, but then ultimately would have more issues and would retire out of the race. So Jacques Villeneuve was still leading at this point, but still hadn't built up sufficient a gap between himself and the cars behind. Loris Hasemans was given a drive-through penalty, the championship leader, because of that contact. So he would drop all the way down through the order to the very bottom of the top 10. Jacques Villeneuve had just about managed to build up enough of an advantage between himself and the battling cars of Vittorio Garelli and Gianmarco Ercoli behind, but how much would the gap be as he took the checkered flag? It had to be more than 5 seconds. As he took the flag, it would be 6.3 seconds later that Garelli would come over the start-finish line. So on corrected times, Jacques Villeneuve would overcome the penalty and claim his first career win in EuroNASCAR Pro. He would go towards victory lane, delighted with the win. Was pushed very hard, though, to try and build that advantage. So celebrations in victory lane as he climbs onto the roof of the number 5 Academy Alex Caffey Motorsport prepared car. The former Indy 500 winner and the 1997 Formula 1 world champion goes to victory lane in NASCAR for the first time in his career and heads on to the top step of the podium to collect his winner's trophy. So it's the final race of the season that's coming up. This is the 4th and last race of the weekend. EuroNASCAR Pro is for the pro drivers. Loris Hasemans leads the championship, but has a very slender advantage. It's all to play for in the final double points paying race of the championship season. Around this 2.5 mile, 4-kilometre circuit, and in particular the final corners through turns 9, 10, 11 and 12. Very twisty, very technical. 18 laps will decide the final race of the season for the EuroNASCAR Pro Championship, and we'll crown our champion as well. In yesterday's race, Jacques Villeneuve also set the fastest lap of the race, so he will start from pole.
Well, the car was great yesterday. Starting from pole might make it a little bit easier, I hope, but yeah, the car was still running great at the end of the race when the tires were used, so hopefully it will be good. The first few laps will be tough, cold and old tires, that's all.
So the championship is beautifully poised. Jacques Villeneuve will start this race from pole position, but the top 3 drivers in the championship, Loris Hasemans, Vittorio Garelli and Gianmarco Ercoli, are all there at the sharp end of the grid as well. So the cars are ready, the fans are ready, the drivers are ready. Let's crown a champion. Jacques Villeneuve starts from pole with Loris Hasemans alongside Vittorio Garelli and Gianmarco Ercoli on row number 2, and Alain Day and Luca Lasser on row number 3. Buckle up for the final time this year. We go green in the NASCAR Wheel in Euro Series. It's a good start from Loris Hasemans, who is wheel to wheel with Jacques Villeneuve, who, remember, in yesterday's race did not lift through Curve Grande. He will not lift this time, but neither will Loris Hasemans. He takes up the lead of the race in the early stages as Gianmarco Ercoli is briefly squeezed to the grass by Jacques Villeneuve, who will not let the Italian go through. So it's Hasemans that leads, Jacques Villeneuve second, Gianmarco Ercoli third, and Vittorio Garelli is there in 4th position by the look of things, with Luca Lasser in 5th, fighting it out with arguably the outgoing champion Alain Day at the wheel of the number 88 Monster Energy backed Chevy. So everybody safely through the first couple of corners. Loris Hasemans out front and leading the race in the early stages of this one. Jacques Villeneuve, fresh from a win yesterday, the first of his career, will look to see if he might be able to make it 2 on the bounce here at Vallelunga in the finals weekend. Luca Lasser runs wide, which is going to allow Alain Day to steal a place away. I think the two of them in 5th and 6th place going wheel to wheel. The white car of Luca Lasser braving it out in the background, but the top 4 just getting away. Luca Lasser still side by side with Alain Day and eventually is able to hang on to the place, but that's just allowed the top 4 to scamper away slightly. Hasemans, Jacques Villeneuve, Luca Lasser, Vittorio Garelli, the Roman, at his home NASCAR Grand Prix, literally on the doorstep of where he grew up, sitting there in 4th position. And Luca Lasser still under pressure for 5th place from the black car of Alain Day that sits behind. They are having some pure racing in the early stages of this one. The double former champion does not want to let the triple champion go through. Out of Chimney 2, speeds build as they head down this newer section of the circuit that was created 15 years ago. Alan Day can see that the door is open, and as they head up towards Ciampagnano, through goes Alan Day. Luca Lasser lets him go through, and now Alan Day will look to try and close up on the cars that lie ahead at this stage. Luca Lasser now down into 6th position. Giorgio Maggi's not that far away, is he in 7th place either? So leading 4 come out of the S's, but for the race leader, Loris Hasemans, he's got a bit more daylight now between himself and Jacques Villeneuve. So Hasemans just starting to pull away to a degree from Villeneuve, Gianmarco Ercoli, and then Vittorio Garelli. Little puff of smoke occasionally from Gianmarco Ercoli's car under acceleration. And as we look at that car out of the windscreen of Vittorio Garelli, Garelli bottled up in 4th place. His fellow countryman lies just ahead. Remember, these two battling for the championship as well. Separated by just 4 points, the pair of them coming into this race. And Garelli's made a mistake. He's going to go off and he's going to go into the barriers. That's one of the championship contenders out at his home NASCAR Grand Prix. He is done for the weekend, and that's his championship hopes gone with that accident. So now it's really down to Loris Hasemans and Gianmarco Ercoli for the championship. And at the moment, Hasemans, who had started to pull away from Jacques Villeneuve, is now starting to come under a bit more pressure again as the French-Canadian starts to close up ever more. So for the lead of the race, Loris Hasemans, with plenty of wins so far this season, is looking to see whether he can add to the tally, or is Jacques Villeneuve going to be able to double up this weekend, fresh from his first win yesterday. Gianmarco Ercoli's coming under pressure as well for 3rd place as Alan Day starts to close up, and Hasemans almost left the door open there for Jacques Villeneuve to squeeze his way through. Loris Hasemans is in a position that would win him the championship whilst he leads the race. He could afford to lose 2 or 3 places and still would be in a good enough spot, but he's coming under pressure from Jacques Villeneuve, who's trying around the outside at Cerati and has made it through. Villeneuve goes through to take up the lead of the race, and now Hasemans is down into 2nd place, and he's got his main championship rival, Gianmarco Ercoli, right behind him in his Hoosier wheel tracks. So out of Semafora, up towards the tighter left-hand hairpin at Tornatino, a defensive line taken into that by Loris Hasemans, who is coming under increasing pressure from the Cal Racing cars that are queuing up behind him, the first of which is the yellow and black car of Gianmarco Ercoli, then the all-black car of Alan Day, and then the Speedhouse Ford of double former champion Luca Lasser sitting behind. Jacques Villeneuve is just being let off the hook a little bit here and isn't under the pressure that you would expect him to be under. That's because Loris Hasemans is thinking about the championship. Even if Ercoli, Alan Day and Luca Lasser all go through, Hasemans drops to 5th. That's still enough for him to have the championship in his pocket at this stage. So he can afford to drive with his head here, doesn't necessarily need to finish on the overall podium. Can't afford to get caught up in an accident, though, can Loris Hasemans. So this is just allowing Jacques Villeneuve to ever more escape up the road. Loris Hasemans under pressure from Gianmarco Ercoli. Again, that defensive line taken in towards the corner. There was almost a little bit of contact midway through the corner. Hasemans is a little bit slower coming out. Ercoli's got the inside line as they head in towards the S's, so he's now up into 2nd position, Gianmarco Ercoli. But down into 3rd goes Hasemans, but that's still enough for him to claim his 2nd championship crown. And as we say, even if the black and then the white car, Alan Day and Luca Lasser, get through, that is still enough for Hasemans to secure the championship crown here. But he'll desperately want to try and finish on the podium in the last race of the season. This is all played beautifully into the hands of Jacques Villeneuve, who is ever more now disappearing up the road with the squabbles that are going on for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and you could argue 5th place with Luca Lasser at the back of that queue. Ercoli just raising the dust as he headed out of Chimney and through the unnamed left-hander. But he still is able to hang on to 2nd position. Hasemans still there in 3rd place, but he's got the Cal Racing Chevy of the Israeli Alan Day right behind him at this stage. And they are all 4 of them now together as they head down the straight. The speeds build as they head in towards the right-hand hairpin at Ciampagnano. Now, Alan Day, is he going to try all the way around the outside to try and make it stick? He is, you know, all the way around the outside of Loris Hasemans to give him the inside line for Cerati, and he's made it stick. Through goes Alan Day. Again, a defensive line from Loris Hasemans. He's lost a further place. He's down to 4th. Luca Lasser trying to sneak his way through as well. But even if Lasser goes through, remember, that is still sufficient for Loris Hasemans to scoop up the championship title. He could drop from 4th to 5th and still be the champion. So Ercoli at the moment, 2nd place is not quite going to be good enough for him in terms of the championship. You can see the lead advantage that Jacques Villeneuve has now built up between this quartet of cars that are fighting over second, third, fourth and fifth, and Hazeman's is going to lose out to Luca Lasser. He's going to lose a further place, but that's still enough for him. He's done all of the hard work earlier on in the season. To drop to fifth would still give him the championship, but it looks as though it's going to be a double win for Jacques Villeneuve. You wait for one win and two come along at once. It's 2 wins out of 2 this weekend for Jacques Villeneuve in the final weekend of NASCAR Whelen Euro Series racing in 2021. Urkley finishes in second place, Alan Day in third, Luca Lasser in fourth, but Hazeman's in fifth will be our EuroNASCAR 2 champion for this year. Delight for Jacques Villeneuve, a perfect weekend for him with 2 wins as he heads towards victory lane for the second time this weekend. Our race winner is down there in victory lane with Andre.
At some point, I didn't want to get involved in the championship fight, but Loris was slowing me down and the guys behind were up my gearbox, so I just had to go for it. And then it was just a question of keeping the gap.
So it was a win for Jacques Villeneuve, but it's the championship for the second time in EuroNASCAR Pro that goes the way of Loris Hazeman's. Just 3 points ahead in the end of Gianmarco Urkley. Let's hear from the champion.
Well, words can't describe right now. It's an amazing feeling. This time it's really not sinking in. Last time around it was kind of around this time. It just feels amazing. I'm super happy with all that we have done over the year. Missing a weekend, well, 2 races in Zolder and still being able to come back. And yeah, this is the perfect send-off to go towards the States, I think.
States and that partial cup campaign he'll be doing next season. The junior trophy champion for 2021 was Gianmarco Urkley from Giorgio Maggi and Ulysse Delso. The challenger trophy champion was Henry Tuamala from Davide Dallara and Yevgen Sokolovsky. But the champion receives the championship trophy presented by Jerome Galpin, supplied by TJ. Loris Hazeman's is a double champion in EuroNASCAR Pro and the youngest ever double champion we've had. Congratulations to him and good luck next year in the Cup Series. But from all of us here at EuroNASCAR, we hope you've enjoyed all of our pure racing this year. We look forward to seeing you for some more action in 2022. Goodbye.